identify the elements of the track. Okay? Listen and think what kind of elements do we have here. And then we try to identify. Super simple progression. It's a phrase that you're going to hear a lot. It's sometimes less is more. I think the most difficult thing to do is to create a nice and long and interesting storytelling with few elements. You know, when you try to put so much, yeah, not only the sound goes wasted, but also you are taking the attention from the listener. So this track has few elements. Let's see if we can name it like everyone try to name at least one element we can identify in electronic music dance. What's the most important element of electronic music? Yes, bingo, the kick. There is no people dancing without the kick, and we producers of electronic music, we wheel all tracks around the kick. It's quite a subject, the kick selection, but also we will the mix around the kick, because the kick is always going to be the loudest element of our track, and it's a nice way to start making a track, like having in mind the volume of the kick, right? If you have something to take notes, maybe your phone, or you have something to write, I'm going to throw tips all around the workshop. And the first one is we're talking about the kick, right? How do we set the level of the kick? How loud should be at the beginning of our production? We have to be careful always to not hit this button now. To not hit in the master output. We never go red, right? And when we start a track, we are aiming to no go for more than 0 dB, of course, but we are going to finish our track at -5, -6 dB. That is called a pre-master of a mix one, which is the previous version that we send to mastering. Do you guys know what mastering is? It's the last polishing of our track. Going to make it sound louder, brighter, but it's not going to change the way you made the track. And the master is not meant to like fix errors and mistakes. We have to avoid these mistakes, and we are going to see some tips on how we are not going to screw or track. But going back to kick, and this is what you can take notes. A nice reference of dB to start playing or project is like -12 dB. It's a nice starting point for kick. Having in mind that the final result of our track had to be at least -6 dB. Some producers also start making the track and then at the end of the production just put down the volume. This is good also, but for me it's good that you are in control of the gain station, because anytime we are adding a new channel, we are adding more volume, right? like I say, track will be the loudest element. And what is the second loudest element, or the more like big one? The bass. Kick and bass are like husband and wife. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. The key is to try to find space between them and find the right sound. Um, Talking about finding the right sound and leaving just the quick intro of production. My main goal today is try to motivate you to find your own sound and showing you how I do it. Maybe you can use my method, or maybe you don't, but at least you have a reference, right? I started since a really early age to make music. I went to the conservatory, studied violin when I was 9 years old. I have a rock band when I was a teenager in school, and then I got my first Ableton. I think it was Ableton 7. Yeah, and start playing with loops. And by the time I was already listening to electronic music in Argentina, we're talking about 2006, 2008. Yeah, I got my first Sasha Catania mixes. They were a big thing back there in Argentina, in the Moon Park parties. But something changed when I discovered Guy J and his first album, 1000 Words. You guys heard about this album? It's a bit ambient, experimental, like weird grooves. I was like, what is this music from another world, another dimension? That really opened my mind because it was different, like the popular EDM that we have in that time. For me, then I discovered the electronic genre. Yeah, I was fascinated, but I don't have any goal at the beginning. I should start playing some loops, and suddenly I was playing loops for my friends' pre-parties, like for 2 or 3 years, and then I started. Someone called me and, yeah, you wanna come and play in the club? I was like, okay, let's go, let's try it out. And yeah, that was 8 years ago, and now we're here. So I'm working really hard, and it was crazy and weird how I started, because I started playing live set before playing DJ set. So I played 3 years of live set with nice artists in Argentina, and then I moved to Spain, and then I started to DJ set. Are you guys playing DJ sets? Yeah, you know how to play DJ set? Someone? Who doesn't know how to DJ? I don't know. I mean, yeah, playing 2 tracks, making a cue, right? But I didn't know how to do it, so my live set was a bit weird at the beginning. But when I started to DJ set, I understand the concept of structure, which is super important for us to make a track who has a storytelling, not only with the music but also with the structure. Make a track, if you want to say, like DJ friendly, so people is going to play it. It's not so hard to mix. Then I started to release music. Yeah, and realize that is hard work. It's not so easy as you guys think, but if you have a commitment and if you have some love also, and you treat this as an extension of yourself, and not only just finishing a project like it was a school project, or like a homework that we need to give, or I just want to make this track because I want to be there, I want to release there. releasing in labels is quietly overrated. Once you release in a label, you think, oh, this is going to change my life. I released, I don't know, Soundgarden, which is a nice level low, and then you realize that nothing will happen. Okay, you wake up the next morning, you are the same, and nothing changes. You are not playing like every part of the world. You are not touring. So try to take this myth out of your head, and the main rule is to make music for yourself. You have to first touch your heart to touch everyone's heart, and that's not easy to do. But if you treat it with respect, I'm sure you can do it. The goal at the beginner or for beginners shouldn't be I want to release music. It should be like I just want to make music. I want to use this for when I have a break, like a break or a free time, to just put the phone in play mode and be with myself, trying to discover new sounds. Try to sit down in the studio without a specific mission, just enjoying the moment. Because when you're playing and when you are enjoying it, you suddenly look, things happen, good things happen, and you get motivated. That's the first rule to go against the frustration, or some people call it the producer's block. It's no block. It's like you're pushing yourself to do something that, or you don't know, or you can't, or maybe you don't have to do it. If you check internet, it's full of videos now of YouTube tutorials, how to YouTube tutorial, Ableton tutorial, sorry, on how to approach Ableton, tips, how to use the drum rack, how to if you are not using Ableton, how to use a sequencer. If I will spend all the time that we have in the class to show you what you can find on internet, it will be such a waste of time. We're going deeper into the rabbit hole today. We're talking about the macro, not the micro. So it's also like a more global approach. So yeah, I started to release music, and I understand that this never ends. We always are trying to make our sound better. We can always get better. Don't get used to like, okay, I did something good, now I had it. No, because 2 weeks later you're going to be like crying in your room like, oh, it doesn't come anymore. It's going to be like this. It's ups and downs, and it's not a race. It's just a journey, like Nishan told you, like try to enjoy it, trying to share it with some friends. That's the most valuable thing. I didn't have many friends back in the day in Mar del Plata because no one was playing this kind of music, so I was on my own. I wish I have some friends and some crew to like I don't know, have a drink and talk about music, sharing or approach between others, and listening to your partners, because if you want feedback, you have to pay attention. You have to be like active listeners for your friends also, and that is super like constructive. You have to be able to accept and receive feedback, because you are not showing your loop or your track to someone because you wanted to hear like, oh, it's so good. No, the main goal to receive feedback is how can I improve, what is bad. Maybe someone is listening something that I don't listen. So what's the first thing you do when you open a new project? What do you go for? Beats? Melody? Nice. I like it. Most of the people, they go for the beat, and that's good. Actually, for me, it's crucial to have a nice beat. We should focus first on having a nice beat. So we were talking about identifying the elements that we hear in the electronic music. We already talked about two, kick and bass. What else? What else do we have here? Percussions, yes. Let's name some percussions. Yeah. What's this? Cowbell. Then percussion, we have also the top of the top hat, which is the bread and butter of electronic music. Kick, bass, and top hat. I call it tuchipachi. Tuchipachi, tuchipachi. Also over there is the hat and the clap. And organic and progressive also add some shakers. So, kick, bass, hats, claps, different kind of percussions and shakers. That's going to be part of our beat. And I recommend you first to try to make a nice sounding beat that make you dance before just going to the next stage. I want to stop here for a minute because I want to talk about something really, really important that I wish I knew before, which is sound selection. Sound selection is key. It's going to
check one. So guys, if you have any questions, or you can ask him directly anything in Sinhala,
Yeah.
English, both
Anything
language
you
you can
understand.
use it. So yes, raise your hand, anyone, okay?
Yeah, totally. Stop me if you understand or if you want to ask. It doesn't matter. Just like stop me. So yeah, we're talking about sound selection. What is the previous step of sound selection? Make a nice folder with your samples. If you invest sometimes organizing your loops and samples, you're going to work so fast. So fast. How I recommend you to organize your samples and loops? Differentiate between one-shots and loops. You know the difference? The one-shots just happen one, like different kind of claps, different kind of kicks. I have it this way. I have kicks. I have mostly cymbals. They could be shakers, hats. We have open hats and closed hats, and shakers just in one folder. Then we have claps, and we have snares also. Then we're talking later about how we can layer some of those. Then have of course the kicks and different kind of percussion, but at least have it separated in this folder. So anytime you download a new pack, you should drop the new elements inside of this folder, because if you're going to go through all your samples and folders one folder by one, you're going to lose a lot of time and you're going to lose a lot of momentum, which is key. The first time you sit down and open the project, those values, those first minutes are super value because you are inspired. You want to work. You don't want to like be searching for like pee poo pa pee pa pee poo 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 for all the one shots, for all the samples. Yes. This is also giving me the idea to give you these advices. You can start to create your own template. Is your project that has already some things on it. So when you are filling it, you should open this project and you have at least one beat going. It doesn't matter if you are not going to use the samples, but at least something going on. Let's start to check Ableton. You guys know how to make a basic MIDI for drums. If not, let's do it right here. So if you're using Ableton, are you familiar with the drum rack, which is a sequencer that we put samples, and then we create a pattern and and we play. But at least if you're going to start a new project, you can save some time by saving. Yeah, good. Let's put place here. So we always work in the grid of 16s. This is the most rhythmical grid that you can have. 32 is for triplets, doesn't sound good. 16 is the sweet spot. So, bass drum. This is a basic beat, but I wanted to show you that you can save this. So next time when you open Ableton, you already have the Tuchipachi, this one. And then you can just change the samples and replace the sample for your own. But it's nice to start your project and yeah, have something sounding. You have two options. You can save this as a new project. I always like put like template 001. So every time I open this project, I start a new one, and then I save and overwrite. Okay. We're missing a nice element of production. Yes. Yeah. You can do it. You can change the sample by double click. Well, this is this is an 808. It's a kit, but if you open a regular sample, a regular drum rack, sorry, you can modify each one of your tracks. Let's put a yeah. You see, if you double click on the sample, here you have the transpose. You can manipulate the key of the sample. We are going to check this a bit later, but yes, drum rack is really flexible. With the transpose, you can just change the pitch of the sample. You have to be careful when you transpose the samples because after 3 or 4 up and down, it starts to get weird and you have some glitches and noises appear. I will not recommend you to change the pitch or transpose of a kick a lot. Maybe 1 up and 1 down, because the main elements when you transpose this sound, these weird sounds can bring you like big problems like phase issues for basses and for kicks. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you have a key, yeah, a kick, and it has a key. Yeah, yes, we're going to see. We're going to see this later when we approach music theory. Is he has a point because every sample has a note, not only the harmonic content, not only the piano, the congas, the percussions, the toms, and the kicks have a note. We're going to see how we can detect in which note are these elements, because well, we are also going to see some basic scales. Of some samples, and then if you modify this tuning of the samples, and these samples now are now in key with the scale of your track, magically the mix sounds better. Yeah, but we're going to see that later. Good question. So we forgot about the toms. The toms are super important, guys, because the toms are going to give you the basic low end. So which is important to start a track is think about the 4-bar loop first. 4-bar loop. This is what's going to make the people dance. Focus first on the 4-bar loop. When you make some basses that are really long, like 32 bars, maybe you get a bit lost. Try to keep the sub bass and the bass simple. This basic placement of the tom, are you going to listen in a lot of tracks? See? You can use it in different ways. Remember, put it in the 16th grid and start playing with the. After you have the top hat, and start playing with the tom, and just do it by ear. That's the best. That's how I make my bass lines, which is the thing that I really enjoy to do. Make some tricky and interesting bass lines. Sometimes I use in a lot of elements to create in just one bass line. You have lower elements, mid and high elements, but then they all they all seem like to be one, and that's the trick, you know. Use different elements and try to make it sound as one. So before going further, let's keep playing with the tom. I always like, I don't know, I just listen in my head, or you can just start playing around and see where the tom goes. This is the key, because the tom and the sub are going to determine a bit the genre of the track. If you put a more like repetitive tom, suddenly the track goes a bit more bouncy and jumpy. Let's try something more extreme. Maybe if you go more organic, you're going to use less notes, right? For example, and we're going to reduce the BPM a bit. This is more organic. You see, we don't need so many notes. And think about the space that we have left to add some notes. Think about the space, because the key is not put elements in top of other elements. Just find the right placement. Not only in the frequency spectrum, we are going to see that, but also in the MIDI grid. If you put a lot of elements one on top of each other, they're not going to have a space to breathe, right? So what I do before going further into the harmony is like I make my own palette of colors for percussions. No, I start to like new project. My beat is going, and then I try to pick at least 5 to 10 perk one shots. Yeah, that sounds like they have something in common. Maybe try to pick some of them, and then I go here and I start to add in some of these percussion until I have a nice forward loop. When I'm sure that I don't have any more room left for these 4 to 8 bar loops, because I repeat myself, this is going to make the people dance, then I start duplicating here, and then with other one shot I try to just put little variation and fill some gap and fill some spaces. Yeah, but I'm not just I create one and then I search for a new sound. I put another one in the pattern and then I search for another sound. No, I try to like go around and see what kind of sounds I'm going to use in these new projects, and then I have it all, and then you can start playing. Of course, you can program this. I call it program. Just put it in with my pad, or you can play it also. If you have a nice or like just a cool controller that has some drum pads, I don't use this one to make the beat, but I use it to make the percussions, because these pads are velocity sensitive. That's the difference between playing pads velocity sensitive that playing in the keyboard of Ableton. You know that if you play here in Ableton or other DAWs, if you put the piano here, you can play from A to L, and this is a piano. But these are not velocity sensitive. This means that doesn't matter if you play soft or harder, the intensity of the sample is going to sound the same. But if you use a controller or with some drum pads, it's going to see and listen if you play harder or softer. And why this is important? 2 things. Because if you play by hand, maybe a congas, maybe a bongo, if you play by hand here, it's not going to be perfect in the grid. Every time you play, you are going to press the button with a different kind of pressure. And this is nice because it's like humanize the track. If you put all of the samples in the same intensity or velocity, it sounds a little bit robotic, right? And also, if it's perfect in the grid, if everything is perfect in the grid, it's also going to sound a bit robotic. So this is another tip. The bass, always on grid. The bass, the kick, always on grid. But you can just move by hand some elements, see, outside the grid. And let's try it out. Let's take the claps, and I move the claps a little bit to the right. See, it's just a bit off grid. Then we choose the hi-hats. We go to the other side just a bit. We pick the toms and we move it just a bit. Let's this. These are tips to humanize your beat. The only thing that we put on grid, it was the kick, and this I do it by ear also. example. This is a lot, right? But I push it until I think it's almost perfect, but not so perfect. Just a bit. This is going to add shuffle and group, and it's quite important that you guys take some time to vary the position and also the velocity. You have the velocity here, right? It goes from 1 to 127. Do you know why? Because it was created that way. It's the MIDI protocol. It was created a long time ago. You know what is MIDI? MIDI is information. So some dudes in the past translated how we play the piano.
Check, guys. If you have any questions, you can ask directly. Okay, you can use the mic if anyone have any questions. All okay?
So MIDI protocol. MIDI protocol is just converting what are we playing in the key into binary code. Okay? So some dudes created this code. So this code is going to determine which key are you playing, for how long are you playing that key, and the pressure that are you using to play this note. And this creates a MIDI file. This is a MIDI file. Check the screen. You see how it's recognizing how I play? Yeah, I play lower. This is the velocity. Sorry, velocity here. The pressure, right? I play harder. But it has no sound. We have to add an instrument, a synthesizer on top of it. So in which element is quite important to use the modify the velocity in the hats and also the closest hats. Let's check it out. Ooh. Okay. I like that one. It was a mistake. Okay, now this is the basic tip for making a nice hat and shaker group is to use 2 or 3 different kind of one shot. It could be a closed hi-hat, an open hi-hat, and a shaker one shot, and try to mix these 3 not only with placement but also with velocity. And this is the hard work, but if you take time, and if we are doing this with love, as we said before, you are going to modify each one of these one by one, so it plays a different velocity, and suddenly this static is a bit more alive. Let's check it out. Let's make it shorter. Usually I put the first one that goes with the kick. This one could be a bit lower. I always try to give space for the kick. So you take like 2 or different kind of close hi-hats. You repeat the pattern in 16, and then you modify. And and then you modify the velocity one by one. Or of course you can play, but the problem is the 1/16 hertz. You have to be really fast to play. So this one I always recommended to program it, yeah, and touch the velocity on this one. Now let's delete this bad boy and let's see what we have here. So I have a loop here that I brought for the class. Let's check it out. Can we like put the volume of the output a bit higher? Choose the computer. No, louder. Yeah. More. Yeah. Pop, 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 pop. Good. Go. Oh. Nice. Now we're talking. So in this project, I just put some of the drums in fewer channels, so we don't have a lot of channel, and we're going to see what we have here. We have a sub. We have a bass. This is if we have only 3 elements, and this already gets you in a loop. And I always like to think about this, the story behind the bass. What I mean with this, music is about question and answer. It keep you like from one way to another, and then you have resolution. Let's add the top hat. Try to identify the elements. This is a warping shit. Ah, good. So now let's identify the story in the loop, in the drum loop. We have head, we have shakers, and the most important drum for me, by giving the personality, is you see? So that's the leitmotif. That's the motif of the drum. That's what gives it personality. And it's also working as a question and answer. Let's see what we have also. We have the drum loop. We have the low end bass. You know, a bass is a group. After we finish the track itself and we start mixing, we'll start grouping some elements that sound similar, so that we can add some treatment to them. But for now, I would recommend you to put some elements in different groups so it doesn't get too much distraction. Kick, bass, and toms could be in one in group. I call it like group or low end or lows, whatever you want. Then I put the drums in another group. I know this is going to sound silly, but name the channels, put some colors to the channels. This is going to help you visually recognize every channel, and you're going to save some few seconds every time. But it works. Name the channels and color the channels. The drum group, it will be in another group itself. Sometimes inside my group of drums, I have subgroups. I tend to put the hi-hats and cymbals, the shakers in one subgroup. And then I have all the percussions and the clap and the snare in another group. Why? Because shakers and hats are using different kind of frequencies. Use this, the audio frequency spectrum. Mostly we're going to divide or mix in the bottom end or the low end. I would say from 30 hertz, this is what human hears, until 100 and 120, we only want to have the kick and the bass. And now we are adding for the first time some mixing tips. Okay, kick and bass are going to be around 0 and 120. If you put an EQ and a spectrum, you are going to see that the kick and the low end are in the back of the spectrum, and they are usually the lowest element. And then from 2 answers to 2Ks, we're going to have the body of every instrument, and by instrument I mean the body of the piano, but also the body of the clap and the percussion. But if you start to go higher, you are going to listen the brightness of the elements, the brightness of the vocals, the brightness of the synthesizer, but also the hats and the shakers and the cymbals. And they are as hard to put it right as the low end. You know, everyone is focusing on the low end because if your track doesn't sound fat and bouncy, then sadly no one is going to play it. But if your high end sounds like crap, also no one is going to play it. The most common mistakes is like the hats are too shy or the highs are too harsh. That hurts. And how you can like know if this is sounding good or right? Because if you spend like 3 or 4 hours with one track, after the third hour, you're trying to modify what you thought that it was right, and you like get lost. That's why it's important to have a nice reference for your sound. What I recommend you to listen to music for music production, I recommend you music production headphones. Mostly like open ones. I use in the 70 Bayer Dynamic. I don't recommend you to use DJ headphones for music production because this one has like a boost of low end and is like putting a mask in the track to sound it good, and then when you put it in another place, not going to sound right. Producing with headphones is not easy, but is the way to go, because if you're going to produce with just speaker at your places, then if your room isn't treated, of the speakers are not high end, you're going to miss a lot of information. So the very best investment for you is some music production headphones. What's the first thing to do when you have the headphones? Listen a lot of music every day. Train your ear. Train your ear. Listen your favorite tracks, and you're going to notice that in every sound like maybe sound together in terms of volume. You're going to recognize the tonal balance, which is quite important to recognize the volume of the different frequencies spectrum. Yeah, there's a relationship between every track and how they are mixed and mastered. This takes a lot of time, but the best you can do is to have some headphones, listen a lot of music, and before going into the studio, warm up. It's like when you're going to play cricket or football, you're not just going straight to the pitch because you can like get hurt. What do? You make some warm up. You run. You get prepared physically, mentally prepared for the exercise. But with music, I recommend you totally before going deep into the studio, listen some track, at least 2 tracks. So when you go and try to make a beat, you're going to try to match the levels of the elements, like the track that you were listening. Okay, let's keep going with the project. Let's see what we have here. Oh, this is a crazy loop that I add. If we add it to the drum loop, sounds good. See how I turn this forward loop and I try to duplicate and try to add some little fills to make it more interesting, and suddenly I have 30 seconds. Okay, that's the difference between going for a forward loop and then duplicating and adding some fillers and tiny elements. By now we don't have any harmony, right? Nothing. We should have a groove. And I'm make a little pause and talk about structure. Guys, we don't build a structure if we don't have enough elements. I have a rule for myself. Before going into the structure, I need to have at least 80% of the tracks I'm going to use in my song. So mostly like everything. I need the bass, I need the harmony. Because if you don't have enough elements and you try to make a structure, then it's not going to be enough. And then you're going back into producing and creating. For me, I would say that we start talking like if you're beginners, just go to the computer and have fun, no rush. But when you are looking to finish a track, you need to sit in front of the computer with a with a mission and I have an objective of today. What I'm going to do today, you have to ask to yourself. The first sessions are easy because let's play, let's try to create some sounds, let's see where it goes. But after you finish the loop, okay, tomorrow, what I'm going to do? Tomorrow I'm going to do the harmony. And I'm not going to go anywhere until I finish this. If I'm making the harmony and I think that my track lacks of percussion, then I rush. Because let's go step by step. I recommend you to go beat and then harmony, yeah, and then add these fillers like percussion fillers, melodic fillers, and after that I will try to create some effects, some things to work with, some things to like transition effects. You can, yeah, of course, you can download from packs or you can do it yourself. I always encourage you to do your own kind of effects, which is quite easy. But now we are in this situation. We created the loop, okay? We create the loop, we have the group, we have the bass. We need to create some harmony. In this case, and before going into full harmony mode, which is the most boring, but at the same time, it's going to help you a lot in creating music. This is what I'm going to see now. I'm going to show you these two bars that I made. Chop, 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 chop. Yes, good. What is this? How do you call it? It's something that repeats itself a lot. It could be like some sort of ARP, right? Like an arpeggiator. This is a warp issue when I translated the Ableton from my computer to here, but you get the idea. And then pad. Super simple notes, but goes well with the harmony. I'm going to show you how to create this harmony now. But I'm going to see how we're going to add one more task to do when we are working in the structure, because the structure is not only about how do I put these blocks. It's about giving movement to every track. And how do we give movement to a track? We put some effects, we open some filters, we make automations. So the track moves itself. So the loop don't get like it gets boring. You have to be able to listen every bar without like losing interest. That's crucial. See how it's getting opened? Okay. So this is an easy tip. If you work with the main loop and then you create the harmony and create some tension and make a good drop, you have half of the track. Focus on creating the loop and something interesting to make it explode, and then you have half of the track, because then you put this on the structure and you make the track a bit like, I don't know how to say, stretch. Yes, stretch. I think it was like you're making pasta. You have the raw dough, and then you stretch it. But they have to, the dough have to be nice and perfect, and it had to be ready. You cannot start making the noodles if the dough is not right, is not on point. Okay. But let's get some nerdy stuff with some harmony. I have some pictures here to show you something. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think it's not in the order. Let me check. Does anyone know how to play an instrument here? Anyone is playing instruments? What you playing? Something? Guitar?
Check one.
Nice.
Check.
Guitar is harder than piano.
Check.
Yeah, it's okay, Nishan. Thank you, mate.
Check.
Check, check, 1 2 1 2. See the first one. Ah.
කට්ටියට තේරෙනවනේ දැන්ට කියලා දෙන මොනාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න සිංහලෙන් හරි කවන්න. So
So, this, it's a piano. You know the notes? C, D, E, F, G, you know the note? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then it repeats. That's an octave, okay? Being C, the most iconic note, because it's the first one of this scale, and we are going to look by the C3. These are the C placements of this note around the piano, but the C3 is important that you remember this if you want to take note, because C3 is going to give us the very first middle of the piano, and this is going to help us when we use samples. Why? You know that a lot of music was created with samples, and these samples have an original note. Then we can just pitch it up and down. But anytime we are going to use a sampler, we want to play in our piano in Ableton and identify the C3, because that's the original note of the sample. If we are pressing another note, then we are pitching the sample down or up. So remember the most important note of the piano in music production, and the only one that you have to remember is C3. Okay? So here. Yep. Good. So, the notes. Like we say, I will totally recommend you to learn this. It's not so difficult, but learn the notes, because if you learn the notes, then you can understand scales. That's why we are learning this today, because we want to talk about scales and identify in which scale are we playing, because we can also try to play random notes by ear and see if it's good. That's good. But like I say, if we had the information, we are in control of the situation, and we have more possibilities to play and have fun. And yeah, white keys and black keys. Yeah, some people when they start they had this printed. It could be helpful because the black notes also have names. Um, it's so easy to remember because these are like the hashtag icon. Is the sharp, means sharp, and the B means flat. You only have to remember this so you can identify which note are we talking about, because if you also play as DJ said, you know that every track has a scale, and if you search, I don't know, you're using Recordbox to export some music or using Tractor, you're going to see the scale name. And usually the scale name are like A or AM. You're going to see the difference now because I have two types of scales. Or the basic scale are major and minor scale. So we try to get into the root note, the most important note of our track, and we are going to try to learn this concept. Let's see if I can put the piano so you can also see while I play. Yeah, but the boost this. Well, now I will put an atmosphere in the background. Usually some tracks when it starts you have something melodic that gives you the a snippet of the harmony. So we have this chord now, and we're going to identify the notes. We're going to try to do it by ear. So how do I do it? Well, I should start playing by ear, but you can also try to sing it. That's how I learn it, and it's quite easy because you can just try to match your voice with the note. See, this note is the root note, and it's going to sound good all over the track. Doesn't matter where you play it. It's where everyone, with all the harmony content, like this is the foundational stone of the harmony, this root note. So and then I try to find it in the keyboard. We're not playing the note D. Now we know that our main note is D. I'm playing the higher D, the low D. Why is important to know the root note? Because the bass usually is going to use the root note. Some basses are super simple, like I'm just playing the D. What? I think this is sample rate. Let's check it out. No, I cannot change the sample rate. Fuck you. Yeah, no, I think it's the buffer size. Maybe. See? Okay, now I'm trying to. Do you know what this does freeze. Well, when we are opening a new instrument, it could be a native instrument like this. This is an instrument that you can find in Ableton, or you can be a virtual synthesizer that is outside Ableton. But this uses a lot of CPU. So we have a possibility with Ableton to freeze it that is going to transform it for a very limited time in audio. So we are not using a program to make the piano, because if you open an instrument, we open a program inside a program. Okay? But if we freeze it, we are going to transform this into an audio clip, which doesn't going to use lots of CPU, and it's going to let us keep working. So we freeze the track. This action will stop the audio. Proceed. See, when you start hearing like this pop and is that we are using a lot of CPU. So we freeze. You see how it changed? But the CPU was here. We were using like 35 to 40%, and now we are in 10%. So, and now we keep going. So, root note is also called the root note is also called the first grade of our scale. So if you're playing a track of a DJ that is in D minor, what do you guys think is going to be the root note? The root note. If the scale is in D minor, the root note will be in which key? C, D, E, F, G? Which one? D minor, D minor. The main note is going to be D. The scale already tells us the note. If it's G, the main note, it will be G. Awesome, good. So, I wish I knew this tip when I started to produce. We're going to make a quick it's not even a trick. It's you have to count. We're going to learn how to count to find the second most important note in our scale, which is the dominant. See? But first, let's hear how this sound. So we know that the most important one is in this case, and because of the pad that we are listening, we know we are working in D. And then we need to know how to count in the keyboard to do this. It's quite simple, guys. We're going from left to right, counting every note that we have. Doesn't matter if a white key or a black key. Okay? Follow me.
එයා කියන්නේ වමේ ඉඳන් දකුණට තමයි පියානෝ එකේ කීස් අපි කවුන්ට් කරන්න ඕනේ. වම ඉඳලා තමයි දකුණු පැත්තට යන්නේ. තේරුණාද එයා කියන්නේ? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, each step that we're going is called a half step or a semitone. Okay? So if we go from here to here, is half step of semitone. From the white to the next one is not the next white, it's the black one. Okay? We're following the order. Following the order. If we go from here to here, we have half step, half step, half step, half step. And what happened here? What do you think? it's also a half step. It's all half step. This is super simple, and you have to remember because we are going to count now to search for the second most important note. Is going to help us a lot to build the track, to build the bass line, and to tune our percussions. So if we know that our main note is in D, we're going to start counting from D. But how much are we going to count? We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we can go down also, and it's 7. So it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we get to the same note. Okay, 5 up or 7 down, and we're going to find the magic note or the second magic note.
තේරුණාද කියන එක?
We're going, yes.
ඕක බේසික් ඕක ඉගෙන ගත්තොත් තමයි ඔයගලන්ට පියානෝ එක යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොනාර ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. Any questions? No?
Yeah, going. But let's listen how we can play now, because these two are like cousins. These two notes are like cousins. Sorry, I'm going to sing like a stupid song or something. Don't laugh, please. Or laugh, but don't look at me. We're trying to make like a first storytelling with just two notes, okay? But these two notes are cousins, but one is release and the other one is a bit of tension. It doesn't resolve. Look, listen. Pa, 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 arata. We started our song, huh? Let's go to the cousin. But like we cannot end here. Like it's unsolved. We give you tension. It's not finished. Da da da. I'm super sure that you heard this in every song because every song use this. So we suddenly have something to do. Imagine like the root note is home and the dominant is the park. So we're going for a ride, no? I'm home doing my chorus, then I go outside to the park, then I don't go back home. This is key because it's also going to help us to make the bass line and also a chord progression, which is a bit more difficult. But if we know these three notes, we are going to learn the third one now, then it's going to be easy to create our first harmonic progression. So we know the root notes and we know the dominant, which is called also the fifth grade. But now we're going to know the third most important note in our scale is the fourth grade. It is close to the fifth. It's one step before the fifth. So let's add this. So we have something, and we are just playing. One note. Let's try to add something else. I've started to add some notes, but I'm using the main progression, like 1, 5th, 4, to make the track. This you can apply it to every scale, and I mean, you don't have to make music this way. This is just like a way to start feeling the harmony of your track. But then also, some scales are going to sound more happy, and another ones are going to sound more deep. I don't like to call it sad, because it's not sad. But that's the difference when you play a track. It could be the track key could be D, or you could play it DM. If we put a DM, it's because it's a D minor, and we're playing a minor scale. Let me show you the difference between a minor chord and a major chord. Okay. For example, higher. I'm happy. Hello. I'm not so happy right now. Things happened this year. No, think the year's just started. Don't worry, guys. So minor. Most of the track electronic music are in minor mode. It's so easy to recognize. And I'm going to give you another tip, which is the easiest scale to start working with is A minor, because A minor, you remember A is C, D, E, F, G, A. From A to A, you are going to play only the white keys. So you don't have to remember the pattern. You have to play the black keys, which usually is just a problem at the beginning. So for homework, try to start a melody in A minor. So and identify the 5th and the 4th grade, the dominant and the subdominant, like we did in this example. So but now we're going to start with A. Someone wants to come here to try to find the 5th grade? Someone that is not get used to this? Come on, come on. I need a volunteer. Let's go. That's my guy. So, first we're looking for the A note. A, you remember? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, you remember what was the number, machine number to go outside? 7? 7, but 7 was if you go down. If you go up was 5. And remember, we're going 5 steps up, counting every white and black keys. So we're starting with A. You can press it. But we don't count A as the first one. That's an important rule. We don't count the same note as the first step. The first step is the first that we move. So it will be A. What's the next one? Here. The first one, the next note, which will be the black key. Here. No, we're going up. Okay. So it will be this one. This one is number 1. The next step, number 1. So now we start counting. 1. 1. Next one. 2. 3. No. 4. 5. And now we have the dominant note. And then if you go one note before and one whole step before, we're going to find the 4th one. So the 4th one will be, if this one is the 5th, which is the 4th? Nice. No, this one, yeah, good. So, this is our story. A. This is also important because with these three notes, we can also start doing some repetition or some plugs, not only chords. Try to think simple. So you see, I was doing the bass. You remember the bass? It was just one note, but with a rhythmic impulse. Okay, we can do the same with this scale. So for homework, you start to make a track in A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is this? What's the difference between this and this? Yes, if you play two or more notes, we're playing a chord, and that's why we're here, because we make a bass progression, and now we're going to make a chord progression. And now I'm going to show you how to do this. Thanks, my friend. Thank you very much. Picture? Yeah, fuck yes. Nice. Okay. Let's move forward, and we keep going with the. We go back to this key, which is D minor. I'm going to put some. So, basic tip. First, we know we try to find the root note. Then we search for the fifth and the fourth. And before playing some leads or chords, we're going to make the main bass note for all progression. And you can start by using these three notes: the root note, the fourth, and the fifth. Okay. Let's record one bar. Yes, please. So we're going to start with the root note, and we are going to end in the root note, which is our home for now. Okay. Oh, give me count. Give me count. Count. Uh-huh. Super basic, but you're going to get the idea. Let's make it a bit less longer. Actually, whoopsie. piano, and it's going to be so easy to create something on top of it, because the bass is already leading our paths. So if you got this, we go to the piano. Okay, we have something. We have a lead, we have a piano, but now we want to make some chords. Okay, we want to make some chord. Actually, we have one chord here. Look, the one that we froze before. This is a chord, but we are using it as an atmosphere pad. Progressive house use a lot of this. It's a basic chord, usually that is built around the main note, this chord, but it's super dreamy and have a lot of reverb. So this make it a lot more like less present in front of the mix. It's in the back. It's like a bed. This is like a bed for the harmonic content. Like, oh, it's like a static chord. This one. But let me show you a quick trick on how to make a quick chord progression using our bass as reference. We're going to take this MIDI clip of the bass, and we're going to play it in another instrument. But take note of this. We're going to use it in another instrument, but we are going to put it in an octave higher. Okay? So we select everything, and in Ableton we push Shift and up. In every other DAW you can choose drag and drop, is the same. And we're going to put it up in the C. Now we have another note. Let's see. But the chorus, we say that we need 2 more notes, or at least 1 note to make it sound like a chord. In this step, you have 2 options. If you have a piano, you can try play it, or if you are just programming this, you can zoom in, and the chord is a triad. Usually, you have 1 free key before the other one that you are pressing. So let's try to make the main chord of our track, which is in D minor. So the bass note of the chord is going to be D. Yeah, exactly. So we place D. No, nothing happened. Press D. And we leave 1 space and go for the other one. We leave 1 space and go for the other one. if you do the same with the fifth and the fourth, you're going to play the whole chord progression. So it would be. Let's go to the fifth and do the same. And we'll go back to the main road. You can see we're creating an atmosphere with just two chords. Sometimes it's not about all the chord progression. We don't have to make it super hard. It's more about the other elements that fills those empty spaces, or the leaves, or the piano that you can create, or the answer and questions. You see? But for now, let's try to keep going with this chord. So, if you are not playing, no problemo. We can. This is C, D, D3. This is one? Yes. So we add the note. See? We go to the next one, which is G. And the last one start with F, the fourth, A and D. Okay. And D. Cool. Now, I like to do this with the keyboard, but you can just try to add more notes to this progression. I usually, when I have the main chord progression, which is this super basic, just 3 chords, three adrats, I duplicate, and then I try to make this more interesting. You know, if you press this button here, you can record on top of the recording. See? Here. Okay, add more notes, and then how I show you, let's freeze this because it's going to melt our CPU.
I love that dreamy
Sure. And imagine this. Then if you put some filter and some automation, this is moving. This is moving. And now we're going to add more layers. We have the bass note. We have the chords. We added
Check.
some extra notes to the chords, and we have a piano. Basically, now we have harmony. We have a story. Then we can add a lot of more things, but this is like the bed for all your synth. It's super important that you have some sort of progression. But there's a tip that I use a lot. I always try to not make the chord progression super fast, or not to show it super fast in my track. I prefer to like straight into the main chord and try to build a story around just the main chord, the root note, and then sometimes I try to fill with the fifth and the four and another one that sounds right, but try to not show everything super fast. Try to give the listener some details. Maybe just in one bar you can put just one chord with a lot of reverb to the listener get used to the instrument, and then you go for the full progression. So let's keep adding some instruments. We have
any questions, guys? මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද අහන්න? Dennis,
I think we are going
you're
to
the boy.
I think we're going to stand for
Dolmin? All good?
good. So let's put a delay here because I don't like it. Let's put an audio effect here. Do you know the difference between putting an audio effect as an send and return and an insert? Ooh. No? Good question. So in Ableton you can put effects on top of the channels, but you can also put effects as a send and return. So this is another channel when you basically send some percentage of a channel, and then here you put the effect, not just straight into the channel. And why do we want to do this? Because sometimes if you put an effect directly into the track, it's going to change the vibe a lot. We're going to lose some punch. We're going to lose some transients. Maybe that's maybe we don't want that. So it's like creating a different channel, a different copy of this track that you want to put on effects, but you have two, one dry and one wet. I'm super sure that you heard about the dry and wet, or you saw it in some instrument racks in Ableton. But now I'm going to put a delay in the piano, but not this one, please, because it's horrible.
දැන් මේ Ableton එකේ මෙයා ඉන්න view එක මොකක්ද කියලා කියන්න බලන්න. views දෙකක් තියෙනවා Ableton වල. මොන view එකේද මෙයා දැන් work කරන්නේ? So basically Ableton has two views. So which view is this? And if anyone knows what are those two views? Okay.
Yeah.
So session view and the arrangement view. So this is basically arrangement view. Session view, which is this way. So basically අල්ලගත්තොත් අතේ මේ පැත්ත session view එක, මේ පැත්ත arrangement view එක. එකම දේ අපි දෙපැත්තේ වැඩ කරන්නේ. වෙනසක් නැහැ. තේරෙනවද? So දෙපැත්තට අපි වැඩ කරන විදි දෙකක් තියෙන්නේ. placement කරන විදිහයි arrangement view එකේ අපිට long අපිට process එක බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්නේ track එකේ full length එකම හරිද? එතකොට session view එක ආට track එක එහෙම බලන්න බෑනේ. බලන්න පුළුවන් track එකේ click කරොත් පල්ලෙහා අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්. Bro, can you just click the
Another view?
Yeah, no. Just click on any sample.
Yep.
Any wave sample you have here?
What kind of sample you want?
Wave, anything? Any track you have? Just put on in this layer.
This is freeze, okay?
Yeah. So basically අපි කියමු දැන් මේකට දැන් session view එකේ track එක පේන්නේ මේ විදියට. Right? ඊට පස්සේ ටැබ් එකෙන් අපිට arrangement view එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. arrangement view එකේ තමයි අපි basically track එක develop කරගෙන යන්නේ. මොකද අර පැත්ත අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ කරන්න වැඩ. basically අපි මේ පැත්ත කරන්නේ අපිට ඕන samples ටික copy කරලා දාගන්න arrange session එක හදාගන්න. එතකොට අපි work mode එක ඇවිල්ලා session view එකේ හදාගෙන යන්නේ. loop එකක් හදාගත්තාම පේන්න ඕනේ අපිට view එක. ඒකට තමයි session view එක අපිට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. easy වැඩ කරන්න. හරි? So basically we have session view and arrangement view.
Yeah, most of the softwares, like in video and audio, you use like a arrangement mode. Yeah, you see that like this. Ableton changed the game because it transformed this into this, so you can play by scenes, but it's mostly oriented to live performance. But you can just like create something and then you go and drop it here, like this. Like this. Use what we just created and to put it into the arrangement modes. So basically we select the 3. With shifts you can select more than one element, and then we just drag and drop these 3 into this. Of course you have to put it in the same channels, huh?
හරි. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඇති කොහොමද මේ session view දෙක වෙනස් කරගන්නේ කියලා. එයා කරේ ඒ ටික copy කරගෙන අල්ලගෙන හිටියා mouse එකේ shift එකත් එක්ක. ඊට පස්සේ tab එක එවුවට පස්සේ අනිත් අපේ arrangement view එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාලට ගිහලා එතන drop කරන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඔයාලට ඒක පේනවා session view එකේ ඔයාලට ඒකේ play කරන්න පුළුවන්, handle කරන්න පුළුවන් easily. ඒකයි views දෙකක් තියෙන්නේ.
You see, if we put the tracks here, they are not highlighted in gray. You have to press. Well, I'm going to show you here. Why? I have to press this button over here to tell Ableton that you want to play this side of the loops and not the other one. Okay, so if you play here, like, voila. And then the other button that you have to remember from this is this one. This one is going to create a loop in your selection. So when it comes to this part, it's going to repeat and start all over again. So, boop, this button over here, and now we have the sequence that we choose right. Okay. Where's the bass?
දැන් මෙයා work කරන මේ session එක මොකද්ද, view එක මොකද්ද? correct, session view.
But we can try also play different kind of notes for the bass. So if you have the harmonic progression and then you can start creating some tension, you can start making your first bridge or your first build up. But if you only make a drum beat and a loop, the track is not going to develop. At least in this genre, I'm really sure that not everyone makes the harmony the way that we show you today, but it works. I've been teaching to my friends and students back in Argentina and Spain like this, and they are easily creating some melodies right now. But first, identify the root note, and then just make the count. Remember, 5 up or 7 down to find the second most important note, and then one key before the fifth to get the fourth. If you remember this, it's going to help you and it's going to be with you all along your life, not only for music production but also with different instruments, because you're going to be able to grab any instrument. Could be a guitar, could be a piano, and you're going to use the same technique, and you're going to be able to play it. And when you know the pattern, you can spray yourself with an instrument, then the things get more spiritual. It's not about programming, it's just about feeling the notes that I want to play next. And this is a good start to create an harmonic like bass for you to jam. Because if you close your eyes and you jam with a piano, let's see if I only have this. Let's make it shorter. What I do when I want to make something special, it's just like, yeah, try to feel it, and I put like just to let this. I try to create the lead of the track with all my power of concentration, and yeah, I try to build something until I have something different. And not every time we had to play like it was a solo. We can use the technique, of course, to make some rhythmic chords or some plug. Layering and picking the right instruments. I would totally recommend you also to install some virtual synthesizer, because Ableton is a bit limited. The last one, the 12 is good, but if you don't have the wavetable, then the stock synthesizers of Ableton sounds a bit like toys, and that sometimes could be a little frustrating. If you have a nice synth that you can play and sounds good, it's going to instantly motivate you to keep going. So, but if you can make just the skeleton, it will be the MIDI, right? Imagine this: you create the MIDI, you have all the information, but then the good thing about MIDI is you can replace the instrument. So you create this that sounds super like toys and childish, but then you put this information into a big synth, and voila, it's going to blow your mind. So focus on make a nice MIDI, a MIDI progression with the sub, try to make some chords, try to make some rhythmic elements, because yeah, you know that this genre use a lot of rhythmic elements. For these rhythmic elements, I recommend you certain type of a style of playing. It's not pads, not lead, it's plucks, a plucky sound, which is sounds that are they have harmonic content, but also they are percussive. Dun, 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 dun. Mhm. Oh, and you mentioned like sound packs. This what we learned today about the root note is going to help you a lot
Check.
with sample packs, because sample packs are often organized by key. So you're going to see now when you download a pack is in DM, you know that the root node is in. If in DM the root node is in D. So you're going to see like I download Progressive House sample pack, blah blah blah. Let's go to the base folder. You're going to have C, M, G, M, E, M, all the notes of the piano. But if you know, if you're making a track in AM, you're going to search for this kind of loops that are in EM, and now you know how to build the main core of EM. Suddenly you know how to make the harmony, and you can add also direct like other loops in your project. But be careful with loops. For percussion, I think it's good. Try to make the loops your own. You can try to edit them, try to chop them, try to put some effects on top of it, because everyone is going to sound the same if you don't modify the loops of a library. In this case, so you have a loop here. No worries.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Let's open a new one. So you guys are downloading music samples, loops and samples? No?
Would you recommend us like sites or place to get the loop sample packs?
Well, I mean, it's an addiction problem. You start downloading, and you have a lot. My advice, it would be anytime you download, don't copy and paste everything into the folder. Listen every track. If you don't like something, just delete it, because you start like having a lot of trash there, and then you're losing time and space. But I would recommend you to maybe share like a Splice account or some of these pages that they are not going to send you like full drum loops packs, but you can choose and you can listen anyone and you can download it. You have like 100 credits per month or something like that, and you can just pick every one shot on loops. The good things, the Splice also lets you search by key. You know that's why important to know in which key are we working, because it's going to help you work really fast. So let's say you're creating. I mean, the homework for me, if you want to show me something that you're doing with this class, would be start a track in A minor. In A, just make a loop, put an harmonic contact, and if you are happy, send it to me, and I will listen it. I will give you my email also. But if you search in Google, also there's no need you guys to pay for things. There's a lot of free stuff online. A lot of web pages also have a browser to search in AM loops. Yeah, I try to make something with it and mix your own sounds with the sounds that you find online. But be careful not to put like a full piano loop. I mean, you can do that, yes. I don't like it. I like it. Maybe um, harmonic loops. You can use like something for the background, or maybe just like a guitar or something that we cannot record at our own places. But try to see if you can search for different like sample and loop packs and organize your own library, because if you organize your own library and you select your own sounds, you're going to be able to create your sound identity. It's quite important, because if you always try to play the sounds that represent you well, then suddenly you are building your own sound. That's super difficult to to have nowadays with all the music that is in the stores. But try to download and organize the samples and loops that represent you. Now I'm going to show you. So we started with a sequencer and created a beat. We put a hat, a clap. We put some toms. We put, of course, we put a kick. We make our own first beat. Then we duplicate it and add percussions and variations. Then we created our harmonic context by just putting the main chord. Remember, we put the main chord in the back just to give the atmosphere. Then we created the bass line story. We go for the main note, to the fifth note, to the fourth note. After we made that, we create also a chord progression. Voila, the chord progression is based on the bass progression. So we only like put some two notes on top of the bass notes in another instrument. But remember that we put it a bit higher. Try to not play instruments in the same key of your instrument. Like every sound has its own space. Let's see, put the piano once again. Every note also represents a frequency in the spectrum. Usually between C2 and C3 are the bass. Between C3 and C4 are like the body of the piano and plugs. Between C5 and NAP, the most dreamy and high part. So try to pick one element for each octave of the piano, because it's related to the frequency. It's super related to mathematics actually, because if A is in 220 hertz, the next A in the keyboard is going to duplicate the frequency. It's going to be 440, and the next A is going to be 880. So if you use this technique mathematically and sonically, it's going to fit. The hardest part is to use less elements and do something nice. But for now, I prefer a cohesive story and something that sounds not nice, but it's telling me something, and without having like big mistakes, which I wanted to show you right now. I know we are a bit of time, but I need to show something else. Okay, I need to show a bit of mixing, just a bit. No. So we were doing like a recap. We put the course. After the course, we go totally freestyle. We close our eyes when we were smoking. We're happy, and we created a piano. That's the most fun part for me. I really like it to when I have the beat and I have this harmonic story. I should pick the best instrument that I have and create a solo or create a story, because this is going to make that is going to give the personality of the track. What I do is usually I just record super long loops. I don't like just stop and start over again. Talking about this, the lead and this thing that I'm going to give a personality to the track. I just go and maybe for 20 minutes I just jam in until suddenly something happened and I found it and I recorded, and I'm 100% sure that it is what I wanted to do. But what happened when we have all these elements? We have a big loop. Now we go for a 4-bar loop into a maybe with the piano it would be like 64-bar loop or 128-bar loop. But that's not enough for a track. So when we have this loop and we have this checklist of things that we need, the beat, the harmonic content, and mostly 80% of the tracks that I'm going to channel, sorry, that I'm going to use in my track, then I can start going into a structure. For a structure, some people say that, oh, you can put a track of another producer and then copy the structure. No, man, don't do that, man. Try to, your track is going to be its own structure. This is a limitation, and it's not a good limitation. Equipment limitation is good because it forces you to know your equipment better and give you more ideas. But this kind of limitation is going to make your, it's going to be easier, faster. Yes. I recommend you this to do at the beginning. It could be a nice exercise sometimes. But if you're looking forward to make something different, try to feel the structure. Who was asking about the structure? You, no? You were asking about the structure, right? Arrangement, yeah. Yes, for me it's the same, yeah. Arrangement. So, the key will be, after we create all the elements, we put the main drop, or I mean all the elements, it will be the main drop, and try to create a build-up. Maybe just with the synths or some effects. We don't want to get more time just creating the snare roll and all this stuff. No, we should want to create a raw arrangement. So we have the main part. A track, usually the length of a track is 6 until 8 minutes, maybe. So we're gonna agree that between the minute 3 and the minute 4.5 is the strong part of the track. After we put the drop and we create the bridge, then, like we say before, we want to stretch this. Yeah. Of course, we have to keep things interesting at the beginning. It's not only we don't want to work only just for the drop. We have different, I call it different drops. Maybe drop 1, drop 2, or a main drop. Let's use my song for reference. Let's see if this works okay. I cut the intro and the outro, so we're going to sound from the very first, first minute. Let's analyze the structure of the sound, and then we are going to check. We're going to give you some quick mix tips that you need to know. Now, you see, I'm using just 4 tracks. That's because I group every track that sounds the same, like I tell you. Drums, atmospheres, and effects. Yeah.
Bikes or Horror Bakes.
Yes, sir.
Track, right?
Yes, sir.
One of my
So yes, it
favorites.
was released of Mango.
Mango
Is
Alley.
funny story because this track has like 3 years old, and I only played it in my live set, and the only one who has it was Hernan. And suddenly I was like, why I didn't release this one? I want to do it now, but I was trying to hold it until I was getting tired of it. Like, okay, it's good. I want to have it to take it for myself. No special reason, but the tracks means a lot. I give it a little bit more of push in the drums. We are going to see that we don't have a lot of harmony into the main part. Check the harmony. Yes.
When you group the high end together, for example, do you get to EQ them individually and then group them, or if you group them at once on a drum rack,
Yes.
you won't be able to EQ the
Let's go with the mixtape of EQ with
Yeah.
low end and high end. First of all, in basic rule, some of you know that we don't want every channel to have. Let's go to the audio frequency spectrum. Just kick and bass before 120. Just kick and bass. So every channel in our project should have a EQ when we cut the low part, because all the other channels that are not kick and bass in this part, they're going to add mud. They're going to make the track sound muddy, and we don't want that information. And if we reduce every channel, suddenly the track is going to breathe. In the high end, it's mostly the same. My tip with the high end, we call it high end the groups with the hi-hat, the shakers, and the cymbal that we were talking before. I always remove a bit of the last part. Yeah, low and also the high. And also the high, because mastering then is going to add a bit. Let me show you in the. Let's check the drums with an EQ. You see, here you don't have nothing here. Look, I started to do this some time ago, and you reduce some harshness. Then I group this, and I use glue compression for this one. Compression is going to help us to reduce the dynamic of some instrument, but also glue some channels. What do you mostly use compressors, guitars, and voice, because the guitars and the voice has a lot of peaks, go high and down. And with the compressor, we try to reduce the difference between the high peaks and the low peaks and make the track more cohesive. Yes.
do you take like your samples? Do you before you group them, do you EQ them separately, or do you put them in the drum rack and EQ that channel altogether?
Good question. I like to do it one by one, because my theory is like, if I can reduce as much as trash I can reduce, is the better. So we were talking about creating an EQ. This is super important to know if you don't do it, guys. And we took the first node, and we go and choose this, and we cut. Every channel we cut until the question is until which frequency. That's why you need the headphones, because you're going to reduce it as much as you can without interfering with the body of the sound. If you are reducing it and and you're taking trash and you are not hearing anything, that's good. That's mean that that doesn't belong to the track. But have in mind that the punch of the clack and the snare are like from here. See, we took the clap away. That's important. But also, quick tip on how that I work. I put an EQ like this, and then I right click and save as a default preset. So every time I open an EQ, it's going to be coded in 100. So that's good. It's going to save a lot of time. Of course, if you are using the kick or the sub or the tom, just turn it off. But I would recommend you to save this as a default preset. You can do this with any instrument and audio effects in Ableton, and it's going to save you some time. So we talking about, yeah, my friend.
Like the individuals, let's say take the hi-hat individually, do you put the reverb onto that channel or do you send it onto the drum rack altogether? Like for example, in some of my music that I work on, I tend to put the reverb on the shakers separately and then again on the hi-hats a bit, and then do you do that? Or does it make it muddy when you do that, or do you send it through
Yes.
the...
My advice, it would be stick to 2 or 3 reverbs per project.
Okay, okay,
Mostly using as a send and return,
okay.
unless it's one hate effect like push that you
Yeah.
you want to put more
Okay.
tail. But when you mix different reverbs, things get nutty and delay also. Reverbs important. At least have 2, one long and one short. The long for the synth and the short for the drums. For the drums, I recommend you some room reverbs, which are shorter. And for instruments, you have Valhalla reverbs. They have a free one, super massive, I think. It's a freebie. It's nice, but if you can get the full Valhalla reverb, it's nice. I used to have a preset of Ableton that I used to like, that I made myself, but the reverb of Ableton, I don't like it. I don't like it. I use it to respond to your question. I use long reverb as a send and return for instruments, and sometimes to the drum channel, I add a room reverb. I use Lexicon room reverb, but just a bit, maybe 10-20% dry. Yes, but be careful with reverbs and high end. Reverb is forbidden for kick and low and bass. Okay, it's forbidden. I don't like to forbid things, but be careful because you can have some phase issues, like big issues. Yep. Yes, of course. Actually, good question, because I EQ the reverb so much that I try to remove as much as body as I can. The only thing that I want for the reverb is the shh. I don't want the main note of the piano and that resonance be present the whole time. You know, the reverb, you can put an EQ on the reverb as well. So we have the tracks. We put it in a structure. We make a intro beat and an outro beat. Usually the tracks start to develop up after 33 here. Between 33 and 49, something cool needs to happen, because if not, it gets a bit boring. I mean, it's a rule for lazy DJs. At the beginning of my career, I didn't want to do that. It's like, okay, if they cannot mix it, blah blah blah. But then you see, if you make tracks DJ friendly, magically, people are going to play it. So yeah, make a boring intro without so much information, without so many harmonic content, make more like a nice drum loop. Also, it's hard because it had to be interesting because you cannot put like a loop for 30 minutes and nothing happen. Try to make the people dance without loops, without having the bass, of course. Try to not up the bass from here to here at least, or here to give some time to to mix it. But going back to the structure and the mixing, we remove all the stuff that we don't want from every channel, and we try to keep the bass and the kick in mono. Yeah, this is important, and you have different tools in Ableton to do it. If you put mono, you're going to see how you can do
Excuse
it
me,
directly.
one question.
Yeah.
Why we wanted to keep bass line and the kick in mono? What's the reason?
Because we weren't at front. We weren't on front. Also, most of the sound system of the world in the clubs are in
Mono.
Are in mono, and
Especially in club systems, and
yes,
they are still running by amplifiers, so they are, yes, that's the reason, right?
yes. And also because we're talking about the space that we need to fill with the frequencies, but also there is an imaginary space in our mixing when in varies between different genre, but in the electronic music, the kick and the bass are in the middle of our imaginary spectrum, and then we have some place at the left and right where we can fill all other elements. We can start panning, panning we can do with this. Pan to the left or pan to the right. So I try to keep the bass and the kick in mono. Yeah, careful with the basses in stereo. You can have some phase issues and some really bad. But when you
Excuse me. So like, can we do this? So is it possible, like, when we are, so since the bass lines need to be mono all the time, keeping the sub bass on mono and like having like a high bass on
yes,
on
that's
with
called
stereo
that's
information?
called layering.
Layering, yeah.
Yeah. Usually, if you have a sub bass, it's going to be a mono. You see how we duplicate the MIDI of the chord?
Yeah, exactly.
We can do the same with the bass. We have a lower bass, we duplicate the MIDI, we go up an octave, which is another instrument, but in this instrument we remove the
Low end.
the low end. Like
EQ the
each
low end.
instrument had to be like bass goes until here, and then the other one EQ starts from here.
Yeah.
They don't clash each other because could sound really bad. And then into this mid element, we can start playing with the image and opening a bit. Yeah, for sure. That's quite good.
possible, right?
And also, we can add delay to that part of the bass that
Right.
we cannot do it to the subby part. That's
The
good.
other question would be,
Yeah.
so like now you guys, I've been aware of these clubs having mono systems.
Yeah.
So now since our progressive house tracks has a lot of stereo information in it, if we play it at a club, would it not play that stereo information? That's my question.
No, the difference you're going to notice when you hear the music with the headphones. If the sound system of the club is in mono and you are doing some automation of the panning, so you can put tracks, channels in stereo, but you can also do like, okay, I want this shaker to go from left to right. In headphones, you're going to sound like this, but in a club situation, it's going to sound like a volume reduction. But yeah, if you listen music in Spotify, people are going to notice every detail of your mixing. In the club, not so much. But kick and bass in mono is easy to do it like this. I use a plugin that I don't have right now here, but I think if mono, yeah, Fidelity, mono. And check this out. It's upgrade. Bass mono. I like to use this one because this one let me pick the frequency which I want to put it in mono. Not every part of the bass. There are some basses that have stereo information. So I tell Ableton, okay, from 0 to 120, I want to put this on mono. I would recommend this setup for bass and kick. Don't forget about this setup for bass and kick, and you're not going to have any problem. Then we go to the drums. Typically, hats and the top hat, you want to be as front and super high on volume because this is going to make the people dance also with the kick and the bass. And we can start to pan in some elements. Maybe if we have some congas, some percussions, we can start opening like just one to the left, one to the right. Try to be symmetric also. But these tiny tips are going to make your track like breathe and have more space. We need to try to fill every part of the frequency spectrum. So we need to pick the right instruments and percussion, but also we need to fill this wide spectrum of stereo. Some other genres are they put the kick in the left and the bass in the right, maybe jazz. But here we want all the power in the center always. So for the drums, with the glue compressor or Ableton, then we're good to go. What this is going to do is, of course, besides removing some high peaks, it's going to glue the tracks together and make it sound as one. With the preset that comes from Ableton is more than enough. The glue compressor here, well, it is already compressed, but let's just to show you. You have to only reduce the threshold. You see, now it's activating. This is going to compress and reduce the difference between the highest peak of the audio and the lowest peak. But this is going to reduce volume. So then we use the makeup to increase the volume once again. This. We reduce the threshold until we see that it's doing something. Of course, always listening. No, we are not mixing with the eyes. This is just a guide. And then, with the makeup, we can raise the volume. So, the tip will be, let's see. If you press here, we can check the maximum volume of this channel. Okay, it's minus 13. Okay, now let's put the glue compression, and see what happens. Yes, it's activating, but what happened with the sound? Look, minus 16. So we lose 3 dBs by compressing. So we put it up back with the makeup by 3. And after we did this, with the headphones on, we made something really important after we make a big change. It's like make A and B comparison. We close our eyes and we try to see the difference between this and this. Usually you want to hit the same volume. It was like 13.3. Let's see if we can hear it carefully. it's a tiny different, but everything feels like it's part of one. It feels like glue. It feels like it's pumping. I will not use many compressions, just in the drum bus. Maybe if we have like 3 different elements or blocky elements that sound the same, I will glue them together. Maybe if we have this bass with the mid layer, I will glue it a bit together as well.
So basically like group them and then glue them together?
Yes. If we are layering, we have to put some sort of treatment in the group. Maybe EQ and maybe also a bit of compression. But yeah, compression is overrated. Don't get so crazy. But the other thing that I will recommend you to use is saturation. It's a way to create harmonics, but it's also a way to raise the volume without using the meter or the dB. It's a much softer way to increase the volume, and this is going to be good with main synthesizers and the leads also. Let's try with the synth group, which is this one. Okay, let's go here. And take note of this preset, which is the most softer. A bit warmer is saturation. But first, I'm going to check what this does. Raise the volume, but it gets also a bit crunchy. But if you need to put some element up, you can turn the volume up. I always recommend you turn the volume up with utility, not here, because the utility is progressive. It's go -1, -2, blah blah. This fader goes quickly from 0 to -12. So every change is it's not so precise. I recommend you to use utility. Bang. But we can also bring some elements up by putting some saturation. And the trick is, once we set the level that we want of the instrument, then we want to add some effects, but we want to keep the same dB. Yeah. So now it's 22.7, right? Let's add some saturation, but then I can turn the volume down a bit also. Let's try to reach the same. Oh, nice. So now I group this and I make on and off A and B to see the difference, okay? So I put an effect, raise the volume, put an utility, put the volume down, but it's going to sound different. Even if it's the same amount of volume, it's going to sound different. That's the magic of saturation. That's because we are creating harmonics. It's raising the volume in a different way, and this is going to help you a lot to make some tracks come to life. Here we have effects. Let's check this part. tension again. Two notes, so easy. The important thing is the lead on top of it. Tension. Just the beat, right with no bats, no anything. No, straight to the point. So it's super important that you have some headphones in the future, good headphones to check the volumes. Try to not hurt your ears also. But I would say it's impossible to make a nice mix with just monitor speaker at your place. You need to get some headphones. You need to know them. You need to train your ears. And there is no magic formula. You have to keep doing tracks. If you get stuck, no problem. Just open a new project and do something else. When you feel that this track I'm going to finish it, it's going to do it by itself. Don't force things. Don't push it. Don't push yourself. Yeah, more if you're a beginner and just starting, try to create. Even if you got time every day, try to create one project every day because you are learning something about the project. Just find weird sounds. Play with those sounds. Use different keys. Don't limit yourself because you want to end a track or you want to go forward. That's my. If I knew this before or if I can start all over again, I would just appreciate to know this. Just have fun, dude. Create. I have a experiment that really worked for me. Is trying to create one loop a day for like 2 weeks. So every day I have 30 minutes and I create the loop. And then at the end of that 2 weeks, I listen to them all and just pick 2. And it was so easy to pick because they were the best one. And now all the rest was to the trash or just to a different folder for all this. Maybe someday you're going back. But what I want to say with this is don't force yourself to or rush yourself to finish something. You have to accept in the stage that you are now, enjoy it, embrace it, and try to do as much as you can. Also, if you are a beginner, I totally recommend you to watch some videos a day, 2 or 3 times a week. Learn something. Maybe, guys, it's 15 minutes. It's less time that we spend on Instagram or on TikTok. Learn the language of your software. It's going to help you a lot. See how other producers works as well. Also, don't believe anything that you see online. Follow to these basic rules that we learned today. Give you also
Check.
the volume of the kick to start. We talk about -12, -14. It's a good reference. Everything behind that. Everything behind the kick. The next element will be the bass. If the kick is -12, -14 dB, the bass will be -18, -16, 4 dBs of different. Let the kick go up. And also, if if you get in sample packs, you're going to see that some tracks, some kicks are labeled with the key. So if you are in making a track in A minor, you're going to look for a kick in A. But we learn today how to discover the fifth of the dominant. No, remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top. What happened with this? And this is the last trick, last tip. What happened with this? If you are working the track in D, then if you go for the dominant of the fifth, that today we find it, D was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is G. You can use also a kick in G in a track with D. And this is the bomb, because when the kick and the bass are in the same note, they could have some problems of understanding. You know, the kick and the bass, which always like a marriage. Sometimes it could be difficult. Sometimes it's really nice. But if we have the track and the kick going in the same place, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. But maybe if you put the track or the bass in the fifth, suddenly the low end fits and works. And that's really good. And this also applies to other percussion that have tonality. Congas, bongo also have notes. If we pitch down up, we are tuning the percussions for our own track. And this is happening also with congas and tom. You know, the drum set, they have the toms. No? So some toms, you can tune it. Some bands tune the drums like he was tuning a guitar. They tune the drums for every track, and that gives you more musicality, and suddenly the mix goes better. So remember this fifth trick is going to help you a lot. So hit me with some questions.
Check.
Check.
Any questions, guys? Anything? කට්ටියට තේරුණාද මේ පෑන් කරන එකේ තියෙන මේ ස්පෙෂලිටි එක ඒකේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියන එක? Any questions? තේරුන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය? සද්ද පෑන් කරන්නේ ඇයි? ඒක half circle එකකට අපිට පෑන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. not cue වගේ bass line එකයි kick එකයි center තියන්න ඕනේ හැමදෙස්සම. හරිද? Then ඔයාගේ instruments, synths, whatever you are using, any sound, so you can pan it. pan කරපුවම මොකද වෙන්නේ? සද්දේ crispy. ඔයා ලොකු system එකකින් අහද්දී ඔයාට ඇහෙනවා සද්දේ right side and left side, right? එතකොට ඔයාට pan කරන්න පුළුවන්. Yes, go ahead.
See. Yeah, I use sometimes I use polyverse. But which elements I harpen to right and left? Atmospheres. You know the main atmosphere that we're listening today, the sustained chord. This is a nice element to open it up. Or maybe you can have two of those, and you have one to the right and one to the left also. Yeah, but mostly atmosphere. Then some layers or some percussion. I used to layer claps also. I put really percussive and dry clack, and then I use another clap sample without the low end or without the mid end of the clap. So I just the and I put the two elements together, but I expand the clap only, the higher part, and that's a nice way to put the clap in stereo without losing the punch. Yes.
Yeah. pan කරන එකේ අනිත් විශේෂත්වය තමයි clarity එක අපිට තියාගන්න පුළුවන්. Each sound understood. So අපි කියමුකෝ ඔයාගේ drums pads එක side එකකට එතකොට එයා කිව්වාගේ bass line එකයි kick එකයි make sure that it should be mono, right? so එතකොට perks percussion parts එතකොට whatever you are using pan කරන්න ඔයාගේ headphone එකෙන් අහන්න ඔයාට ආස විදියට pan කරගත්ත හැකි. එතකොට stereo width එක. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි කියමු example එකක් විදියට මම ලියන්න පොඩ්ඩක් පුතයන්. දැන් හිතන්න මම බේස් නෑ මම කික් එක මෙයා බේස් එක. දැන් අපි දෙන්න මෙහෙම එක විදියට යන්න ගියොත් අපි දෙන්න ක්ලෑෂ් වෙනවනේ. අපි දෙන්න ඈත් වෙලා ගියොත් හරිද? so bass line එකයි kick එකයි මෙහෙම යනවා. ඔයාගේ drums ටික side එකට pan කරොත් දැන් මම side වෙලා ඉන්නේ. එතකොට එකම වේගෙන් අපි දෙන්නට ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයාව මාවත් පේනවා මේවත් පේනවා. vision එකේදී මං කියන්නේ. clarity එක වෙනස්. එතකොට සද්ද වෙනස්. මගේ සද්ද එළියට එනවා. නැත්තම් මම මෙයාට hide වෙලා ඉන්නේ. එතකොට මගේ සද්දේ එළියට එන්නේ මොකද මෙයාගේ වැදිලා ඒක struggle කරනවා. basically ඔක්කොම mono වෙන්නේ එතකොට. ඒක yes thank you. pan කරන එකෙන් ඔයාලට stereo width එකක් හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් ලොකු width එකක්. ඔය සමහර සද්ද අහලා තිය කමිලෝගේ හැම ගොඩක් යා drums ගොඩක් pan කරනවා ගොඩක් වටේට. හරිද? එයා pan කරනවා ඒකට effects දෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක මේ දකුණු පැත්තේ ඉඳලා වම් පැත්තට යනවා. වම් පැත්තේ ඉඳලා දකුණු පැත්තට යනවා. තේරෙනවද? එතකොට ඒකේ අර feel එක වැඩි. what do you call stereo width එක වැඩි. එතකොට track එක full පිරිලා සද්ද වැඩි. ඒක නිසා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලෝ use ඒ කියන්නේ මම recommend කරන්නේ not කිව්වාගේම pan කරන එක ගොඩක් use කරන්න. but make sure bass line and the kick should be mono always. ඒක pan කරන්න යන්න එපා. අනිත් ටික ඔයගලන්ට place කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඔයාගේ choice එක හැටියට. the best way panning. Then only you can make the stereo width and get the crispy sound out of it. ගොඩක් අය අහනවා මේ mix down එකේදී අයියේ මෙහෙමයි සද්දේ මගේ ඔක්කොම එක ගොඩේ තියෙන්නේ මට මොකද්ද කරන්නේ mastering engineer ට යවුවත් එයාත් complain කරනවා ඒක so muddy and all. So what the simple way that you can pan it here and there, then easily you can push your sound එළියට. තේරෙනවද මං කියන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ නැත්නම් ඔක්කොම එක ළඟ තිබ්බාම ඔයාලට push කරන්නත් බෑ. එක එකනා එළියට ගන්න මෙහෙම angle කරලා. You have a half circle. Keep kick here, bass line, center, the other instrument here, slightly. Then push it. So basically drums perk මේ පැත්තෙන් push කරන්න. තව perk එකක් මේ පැත්තට align කරලා මේ පැත්තෙන් push කරන්න. තේරුණාද? එතකොට very wide stereo width එකක් එනවා. තේරුණාද? Okay. ඒක අනිත් එක මේ mix down එකේදීත් ගොඩක් වාසි මේ සද්ද ටික වෙන වෙනම එද්දි mix කරන එකන mastering කරන එකනටත් සද්ද ටික වෙන වෙනම ගන්න පුළුවන් එළියට. අනිත් එක not කිව්වාගේ group කරද්දී පුළුවන් තරම් ඔයා bass line එක අරයා කිව්වාගේ bass line එක kick එක එකට drums ටික වෙනම synths ටික වෙනම එහෙම group කරගත්තොත් තමයි හොඳ. සමහර අය නැත්තම් drums දානවා kick එක උඩට. එතකොට ඔයා හදිස්සි හරි ඔයාට අර කිව්වා වගේ low end එක හරි මොනවා හරි cut කරගන්න උනොත් high end එක cut කරගන්න උනොත් drums වලින් එතකොට අර bass එකෙත් cut වෙනවා. So that is why he's asking you to keep separate layers and mainly bass line and kick should be one particular channel. ඒකේ තව වාසියක් තියෙනවා. EQ කරන්න lazy. EQ කරගන්න lazy. අපි කියමුකෝ bass line එකේ ඔයාට ඕන නැති frequency එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා high frequency එකක් not කිව්වාගේ bass line ඔක්කොම අපි low range එකේනේ තියාගන්නේ. හරිද? ඒතකොට kick එකේ high frequency එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අර විදිහට layer කරගත් වෙන වෙනම separate හදාගත්තොත් ඔයාට cut කරන්න lazy ඔයාට ඕන නැති low high frequencies. හරිද? එතකොට basically අපි කියමුකෝ bass line එකේ kick එකේ ඔයා low end එක විතරනේ ගන්නෙ. ඒකේ height එක තිබ්බොත් ඔයා මේ පැත්තෙන් හැමීට cut කරලා ගන්නවා. right? then after ඔයාගේ highs ඕන වෙන්නේ මොනවටද? අපි bass නැතුව highs ඕන වෙන්නේ මොනවටද? මොනවාද sound? highs අපිට basically high end එක. මොනවාද sound අපි use කරන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්? hi hats, එතකොට shakers. අපිට ඒකේ bass line ඒකේ low end එකක් අපිට උමනා කරනවද? චුට්ටක්. but අපිට ගොඩක් ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. අපි මේ edge එකට වගේම low end එකක් අපිට ඕනේ නැහැ. තේරුණාද? එතකොට ඔයාලට කට් කරලා මේ පැත්තට ගත්ත හැකි. ඒ sounds ටික ඔක්කොම එකම ලේ එක තිබ්බොත් අපිට ඔය වැඩේ කරන්න බෑ. ඒකයි යා කියන්නේ group කරගන්න කියලා. වෙන වෙනම. group කරගත්තොත් ඔයාලට equalizer එක use කරන්න පුළුවන් very easily. Understood? තේරුණාද? මොකද අපිට කිව්වා වගේ මේ shakers hi hats වල අපිට bass ඕනේ නැහැ. අපිට ඕනේ high end එක විතරයි. mono bass එකයි kick එකේ අපිට ඕනේ නැහැ high end එක, අපිට ඕනේ low end එක. තේරුණාද මං කියන්නේ? හරි? ඒක තමයි main tip එකක්. එතකොට mastering කරන එකනටත් ඒක ලේසි. ඔයාට වෙන වෙනම layers යවුවාම දැන් mastering කරද්දී ඔයා stems යවන්නේ MP3 එකක් යවනවට recommend කර wave එකක් recommend කරන්නේ නැහැ මම යවන්න. පුළුවන් නම් stems යවන්න low end එක kick bass වෙනම. ඔයාගේ අනිත් sounds ටික වෙනම හදාගන්න layers පහකට වගේ හදලා ඒ පහ ඔයාට යවන්න පුළුවන් mastering engineer ට. එතකොට එයා කරන්නේ layer by තියලා එයාට very easily EQ කරගන්න සද්ද push කරන්න ලේසි. දැන් හිතන්න example එකක් විදියට පාන් ගෙඩියක් අපි ගමුකෝ. ගෙඩියක් කරන් ඔයාට එකපාර දුන්නට ඒක කන්න අමාරුයිනේ. ඔයාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ, කටේ දාගන්න අමාරුයි. මං ඔයාට slices වලට කපලා දුන්නොත් butter ගාලා ඔක්කොම කරලා cheese දාලා it's interesting, right? Understood? So ඔයාට ඒක තියෙන එතකොට රස විඳලා කන්න. mastering කරන එක්කනටත් ඒක එතකොට interesting. ඔයාලට තේරුණාද? මොකද ඔයා separate layers යවලා තින්නේ. එයාට ඒ හැම layer එකම work කරන්න lazy. ඔයාලට තේරුණාද? saturate කරන්න, push කරන්න ඒ ටික lazy. ඒක නිසා final master එක I always recommend layers, stems, not the wave original track. Right? ඒකත් tip එකක්. Anything else boys you want to know quickly?
Good.
So what I was telling them, like if they want to send their tracks to mastering engineer, I asked them to keep the separate layers, so then the mastering guy easily can work
Yeah,
on.
sure.
Because sending one track, what I feel like it's the mastering engineer, it's very hard to work on it, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So basically, I prefer you to make separate layers and send it to mastering engineer. Also, DB කොච්චරක් පල්ලෙන් තියන්න ඕනද mastering engineer යවන්න කලින්? අලුත් අය. Before you sending to mastering engineer, so you have to keep 6 dB less. Because ඒ 6 dB එකේ තමයි අරයට තියෙන වැඩ ටික කරන්නේ. push කරන්නේ සද්දේ, saturate කරන්නේ. තේරුණාද? ඒ 6 dB එක යට තියන්න ඕනේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම. නැත්තම් ඔයා full complete track එක නිකන් ලොකු wave එකක් වගේ යවුවොත් එයාට නෑ එතනින් එහාට push කරන්න track එකේ quality එක ගන්න saturate කරන්න විදිහක් නෑ. ඒක නිසායි අපි 6 dB දෙන්නේ. මෙහෙම layers යවුවත් ඔයා 6 dB down කරලා යවන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට එයාට ඒවා push කරන්න ලේසියි. Anything? Any question?
I think for close up the one thing that I want to repeat is don't get stressed, trying to find your own sounds, trying to do the things that you like. Don't get frustrated. Just have fun while you're playing, and if you keep working every day, like everything, you're going to notice some results. Try to be with your pals, send your loops to your friends, ask for some feedback, try to get better. But I think the most cool thing that you can do besides doing music, that represents you and that is totally from yourself, that you made it in you made it with your own house, and with respect about the music, and also all the partners and the community. That's also why I'm here. I talked to Nishan before coming in, and I express my feeling to communicate the things. That's what I do also in Mallorca. I have a crew there which I'm helping to produce as well, and for me that's the only way to keep the flame alive, and the respect and the love for the Protestant community, which is by far one of the best and most like united communities in the world, and I think that's the thing that makes us difference.
Strong community, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We have
man,
to
yeah.
work hard, support each other. That's my motto. Because if we doesn't support each other, example, මම stuck වෙලා ඉන්නවා කියන්නකෝ idea එක මොකක් හරි loop එක track එක හදා ගන්න බෑ. You can call and ask someone like support me මම මේ වගේ තැනක stuck වෙලා ඉන්නවා, what I can do. ඔයගොල්ලෝ කතා කරන්න, ideas share කරගන්න. එතකොට communicate කරගන්න. ඒකයි මම මේක ඔයගලන්ට free way workshop එක කරේ. කට්ටිය connect වෙලා thought process එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. comment share කරගන්න. හරිද? අර කෙනාගේ idea එක ඔයා use කරන්න, ඔයාගේ idea එකක් එයාට දෙන්න, support කරන්න. නැත්තම් දැන් මම ඇත්තටම තනියෙන් මේක මගේ ඇඟේ තියාගෙන හිටියා නම් ඔයගලන්ට අඩුමතරම මේ වගේ workshop එකක්වත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ ලංකාවේ. ඇත්තටම හරිම දුකයි ඒක. මේ at least කොච්චර DJs ලා ඇවිල්ලා යනවද ලංකාවට? අපි එකෙන් වැඩක් ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ අනිත් එක free ඔයගලන්ට මේ session එක කරන්නේ without asking any penny. So he came all the way from Argentina to Sri Lanka to educate you and play here. He had a nice gigs and he's playing tomorrow audio solo as well. So we are playing together, and one of the good producers, good DJs in world. Thank you not for your time and coming over here and your contribution and supporting Sri Lankan upcoming producers and giving your thoughts and your knowledge. Really appreciate. And as I said, so it's not only today. Get his contact. Give him a hard time. Ask many questions. Don't let him. I mean, like yeah.
Info.
Don't give him any peace.
Info@demure.com. Info.
Yeah, you can reach him info@notdemure.com. Any questions, or you can ask him. You can send him email. Ableton is easy, very easy software, very user friendly. Everything is there. හරිද? ඒකේ inbuilt ඔක්කොම ටික තියෙනවා ඔයාට. ඔයාට purchase කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. Software එක ගන්න, I recommend to buy the original one. I'm not recommending crack or whatever. If you can spend on it, best investment. In return, if you want to be a good producer, software is must, proper one. Crash whenever, anyway. Thank you everyone for coming today, supporting this scene here. We want to grow together, build the community. We want to have a proper, very strong Ableton community here. So I'm giving my best for you all. And also, thanks again, for
it's applause for you.
Yeah.
Go away.
Thank you so much.
Go for it.
Thank you guys. Even if you have any questions, or you can ask him before we have few minutes to wrap the session. Anyone? Anything? Are you guys stuck in a loop? I mean, like, ඔයගොල්ලෝ සින්දු ටිකක් හදාගෙන හිර වෙච්ච තැන් තියනවද? ඒ කියන්නේ දාලා එක බිල් කරගන්න බැරුව හරි මොන හරි ඊම දෙයක් තියනවද? එතනින් එහාට කරගන්න දෙයක් නැතුව දන්නේ නැතුව මොනවාද ඒක මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. best thing හරිද? අහන්න සින්දුවක් ඔයා තියාගන්න ඔයාගේ උඩින් reference track. ඔයා කැමති DJ කෙනෙක්ගේ producer කෙනෙක්ගේ reference track එකක් ගන්න. Keep there on the software. ලේ එක තියාගන්න. Listen to it. හරිද? See the wave. Get an idea from that track. Don't copy the same style. Don't copy. Don't steal. Don't copy. Just to refresh your... Steal is bad, right? Just to refresh yourself, to get some, motivation. If you are stuck in a loop, right? Listen to some music. Keep your product silent kala තියන්න. Mind is everything. වගේ මේක stuck වෙලා නම් you can't do anything. Understood? When it's come to making music. ඒක අපිට වෙනවා. එක දිගට මේකේ වැඩ කරද්දී ඔයාටම පොඩ්ඩක් එනවා පොඩි tiredness එකක්, ideas එන්නේ නැති එකක්. හරිද? එතකොට මොකද්ද මචං මේක මට එන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කියන ළමයි මට කෝල් කරලා කියලා දිනවා. අයියේ මට හිර වෙලා ඉන්නේ. best thing break එකක් ගන්න, එළියට යන්න. හරිද? nature එක, atmosphere ඔක්කොම බලන්න, absorb කරගන්න, වතුර බොන්න හොඳට, water is the best while you are working on music. When you are on the so water is the best. Listen to some other producers music. කැමති ඒවා ideas ටිකක් ගන්න. ඒක copy කරන්න එපා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක දිහා බලාගෙන මට work කරන්න පුළුවන් just to get an idea. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයා gradually ඔයාගේ thought process එක speed එක ඔයාට හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියන්නේ ඔයා හිර වෙලා ඉන්නවනම්. සමහර අය loop එකක් හදාගන්නවා මේ වගේ එක part එකක්. එතනින් එයාට build කරගන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ track එක. Understood what I'm saying? Drums හදාගෙන bass හදාගෙන පට්ට. But එයා loop එකේ හිර වෙලා ඉන්නේ. Some students bro they have all the instrument plays nicely and the sound is good, but they don't know how to build the track, right? It's just a loop, 16 bars or 32 1 minute, so they don't know how to build. But I was saying them to listen to others music and how they place the music, how they made the breaks, and also they can get an idea, right? Yeah, so that is what ඒක ඔලිය තියාගන්න ස්පීඩ් එක හදාගන්න එක ටිප් එකක් ඒක කිව්වාගේ වතුර බොන්න හොඳට ඉන්න ෆ්‍රෙෂ් එකේ එතකොට any questions you can reach me not any time social media WhatsApp අපේ group එක තියෙනවා කවුරු හරි interesting අය ඉන්නවනම් ඔයාලට කියන්න පුළුවන් add වෙන්න කියලා free of charge anything whatever question I'm going to answer for you guys and from end of February I'm going to start off my Ableton classes over here. If anyone want to join with me, so you can join and register. I'll send you the link and all through WhatsApp. That's it for today. So anyone wants to stay for the second session, you guys can welcome to the second session. You guys can stay here. And if anyone wants to leave, so thank you so much for coming again. Thank you. Thank you, Note. Thank you.